Now, a lot of you will look at this game and be wowed by Spain right here, but I'm not impressed in the least because you did all of that, you did all of the smooth passing, all of the smooth one-on-one situations, and this game is literally separated by an own goal. It was so underwhelming from a tactical point of view, and you cannot be impressed with this. And in this game, we're going to take apart all the tactics and what went on in this game. As always, guys, please do subscribe to the channel. It's going to help us a lot to get this family to go bigger. We upload weekly content regarding Barcelona, and currently we're busy with the Euros. Let's get to it. Now, in my opinion, I think Italy basically allowed Spain to be this dominant, right? And if you look at the stats, really, it's not even that impressive. Spain doesn't even have, the possession stats is not even that far off. And they have like over 200 passes more than Italy in this game, if I'm not mistaken. But in the build-up phase, you did see that Spain did split their centre-backs on either side. And this was probably one of the most balanced Spanish teams you will ever see, because you had Rodri as a single pivot. He was mainly isolated receiving the ball from the centre-backs. And then you had Fabian Ruiz, who's basically like a box-to-box midfielder. He was the one who was mainly in support of Rodri if need be. And then you had Pedri, who was circulating in behind here. Now, Pellegrini and Barella was really aggressive when pressing, and many a times Pedri could receive the ball in between the lines. So it was a good play from Spain in the build-up phase, and Italy didn't really want to press them that far up the pitch, so they allowed them mainly through the phases of build-up. But even though Italy lined up as 4-2-3-1, you did see that Pellegrini was joining Scamacca up front, and they were pressing in a 4-4-2 situation. And this build-up from Spain was really in a Barcelona-esque type way, where they could still find Rodri despite the front two, but they would of course make turns to sit on Rodri wherever the ball goes. But the dropping off still happened in this case as well. Even when Fabian Ruiz was dropping off, Barella would still follow him. And this is where the disappointment, in my opinion, comes from, because they couldn't find Pedri in between the lines here and then look to attack Italy in that sense, right? Because Italy kind of wanted to have this way, because they relied and they trusted their centre backs to get the ball from Pedri or whoever comes in there, and then they would attack down the sides immediately as they would get the ball. But I have to say that De La Fonte was really good at adapting, because he saw that this was a real problem, that Spain couldn't find Pedri, and therefore he did adjust. Maybe it was with Morata also coming into the space, but since Barella was following Fabian Ruiz, you saw that Nico Williams was now inverting into the space, and therefore Fabian Ruiz many a time could come out, and then Cucurella would actually go over and receive the ball in that space right over there. But the wingers for Spain operated quite differently, which we will check on and touch on in a second. Even though, as the statistics suggested, an overwhelming amount of shots came through the middle from Spain, it was actually because of the wingers and down to the wingers, as they didn't really take shots in that sense, because Lamine Yamal and Fabian Ruiz operated slightly differently because of this dropping off. Ruiz was the main man, and then Nico inverted with Cucurella going forward. However, Cucurella didn't all the time go forward. He did also operate in that half space for Nico in order to receive wide and be in one-on-one situations. For Lamine Yamal, it was slightly different, because Carvajal was slightly more defensive than usual, but he also did what Cucurella did in order for Lamine to be more in one-on-one situations. But like I said, Nico did invert more than we did see Lamine invert, and then when Lamine would receive and cut inside, that is when you would see Carvajal overlapping in this instance. So really, 1,000 ways to beat you. Now, here's exactly why I said I'm not impressed with Spain at all, right? Because Italy already achieved one thing, which was stopping them from the dropping in and finding Pedri. They did that pretty well, even though Spain did find Pedri in these instances right here. But if you analyze statistics correctly, you will realize that most of the attacks did come through the wings. However, the shots come from the middle. The own goal, you talk about Pedri's header that he received right here. You talk about Nico cutting inside and hitting the crossbar, Lamine coming in and these crosses, right? So any manager worth his salt would have been able to tear Spain apart, right? Because if the inversion happened, with Nico Williams and Cucurella went forward, would Spain be able to do that against an Mbappe, a Dembele, all of these big wingers? A Phil Foden, a Saka, would they be able? I know England is trash at the moment, but I'm just saying, like, would they be able to do that, right? What about the managers that likes to overload the midfield? Because, like I said, Italy allowed Spain to play this way. They allowed them, right? They were defensively compact. Spain attacked through the wings, but the shot still came from the middle of the pitch, right? So any manager worth his salt would have been able to stop this. Italy didn't do much really in the build-up phase or in possession, although they had bulk of the possession, excuse me, because they would play the ball long and try to get the second ball, and then that is how would they push up Spain upfield, right? But for the most of the time, the centre backs would of course split. You would see them playing in the normal 4-3-3 situation, and then Spain did push a little bit higher than what Italy actually did, right? But what was interesting was the fact that they would try to get Spain on one side of the pitch and build up through here, and they would simply just find a long ball to come into the space right here, and that is how they would switch the ball over to the other side. So not a lot that we can talk about from Italy in possession. Higher up the pitch, Italy had some nice variations, I have to say, because Chiesa did invert, and then you saw DeMarco going out forward, and they actually had a 3-2-5 situation going on. But sometimes you did see Jorginho coming in when needed to create a back four, and also you did see that Barella also went higher to receive the ball if Spain would press high. So some nice variations from Italy, however, it didn't come to anything for them. Now, I'm not saying at all that Spain didn't play good. It's just not a performance that you will look back and say, oh, they actually trashed Italy in this game, in this instance, right? Spain did leave a lot to be desired, especially from their wingers. There was no impact really in terms of goals from them. They did shake down those flanks of Italy, but I mean, in a general spectrum, and I think we need to get this man. We need to get Nico Williams at Barcelona, honestly. We need to do everything in our power to get this dude to come to Barca. But as always, guys, please do subscribe to the channel. It's going to help us a lot to get this family to go bigger. We upload weekly Barcelona content only. And currently, we are covering the European Championships. The next video will be why England is struggling. Thank you very much for watching this video.